Hi there, this is Stephen with Karma Astrology. I'm back for another daily rendition of the moon forecast. Today is August 20th. It is a Friday here in Santa Fe and everywhere else in the world, I guess. But I'm located in Santa Fe, and if you haven't seen these before, I do these on a daily basis to give you an idea of, what energy we're dealing with, what kind of basically where the moon is on a daily basis, because that shows our emotions and our feelings and where we're connected. And so I like to talk about the moon as it shows, how we kind of roll around and, get acclimated or feel connected to one thing one day and one thing the next day. And so it just is, our feeling sense. And that being said, if you look up here, the moon is in Shravana Nakshatra until August 20th. Excuse me, that should say August 21st at 10:51 a.m. Eastern Time, USA. I'm going to fix that right now. Okay, and so, and then if you look over here, if you want to see where the moon actually is, you can see over to my left, the moon is at MO, and it's in Capricorn, in Shravana, S-H-R is, Shravana. It's right in the middle of Capricorn. So it actually shows this kind of the meat of Capricorn in a way, which is a really interesting part of it, because it's this kind of silent center of Capricorn, where we're kind of taking action in the beginning, and then we're kind of at ease, and we're listening, and we're receiving in the middle where Shravana is, and then towards the end we kind of take action again. It's this transitional period almost in the zodiac, where we're at peace and we're resting and we're listening. And that kind of brings me to the symbol of Shravana, which is the listening ear. Shravana actually means to hear or to listen or to acquire knowledge through perceiving our perceptions. And it's symbolized by the ear. And the whole point of that is that it's about, the ear is actually the only sense organ that is strongest when it's the most passive. So when we are the most passive, when we're just receiving, we're able to perceive through our ears a little bit more. There's no need to open your eyes or breathe in through your nose or whatever, right? Taste any food. So it's kind of an interesting sense organ, unique in its own character, in its own right. And so it symbolizes kind of the energy of today as being more of a receptive or passive kind of day, where we're listening for truth, we're listening for meaning in things, we're listening maybe for things that are close to the moon, like Saturn and Pluto stuff, but Saturn being kind of like boundaries and taking things seriously and being pragmatic so that we can make things last a long time. And that includes, putting up proper boundaries, not too many, not too few. And the moon being near Saturn will help Saturn kind of, will help sensitize us to this kind of need to have good boundaries in our lives. So we don't want to just overflow and gush on everybody that we see with our emotions. We want to have some sort of, at least protective or just respectful boundary. And today is a great day to listen in for those boundaries, kind of perceive them. It doesn't have to be with your ears, of course. It just symbolizes any sort of sensing that we're doing today to kind of perceive, where the line is, where the line in the sand is for us, where it is for other people, and how we can respect those for both of us so that we all feel safe and we can all feel kind of open-hearted in a way, because the more safe or the more balanced and safe and reasonable our boundaries are, the more we're able to open up and express ourselves and be kind of just who we are within those boundaries. It's almost like, we form relationships with many different people throughout our lives, and we're always kind of assessing them to see if they are trustworthy or not. And so when we find somebody that's trustworthy, we can kind of let them into our boundary, into our home, you could say. And that way we can open up with them a little bit more, which is what we all kind of really want to do in the end, is be able to open up. So we only can do that if we have a healthy sense of respect for our own boundaries and for other people's boundaries. That's kind of the theme of the day. Let's see, Shravana. So let me just show you what it looks like in the sky. I'm going to switch screens over here and show you the sky map. And so you can see exactly where it is. Oh, of course, I'm not able to see it today. Okay, so I'm gonna skip that section because Streamlabs is weird and not letting me, sometimes I guess Streamlabs has some bugs, the streaming software that I use, and it doesn't allow me to see, or to change the background all the time, which is a little strange. But let me try one more time. Yeah, it's saying that it's not able to do it, so I guess that's the case for today. So I'm just going to take it then to the strengths and weaknesses of the day and any other points that I see in my notes. There's basically a great, one of the strengths is our ability to learn, our ability to hear, our ability to take in information on a day like today. The deity, I like to talk about that as well. The deity is Vishnu. That's kind of the preserver god of the modern Hindu gods. There's Vishnu, Shiva, and Brahma. Vishnu is the preserver, the one in the middle that kind of keeps things as they are. He's the god that you might see on the chaise lounge made out of snakes or serpents, kind of listening and just relaxing. And that's kind of the theme or the symbol of today in a lot of ways is being able to kind of just rest and perceive, as I've been harping on today. So some of the strengths, great capacity for learning. It gives us a sense of prosperousness because we're able to kind of perceive the truth a little bit better on a day like today. There's this sort of ability to find balance, like I was alluding to earlier. There's a sense of modesty and ethics today in our behavior. We might be more contemplative. We might contemplate more. Need to work on pronouncing that word. This can make us very charitable and, lend its way towards humanitarian causes. There's a very helpful energy in our kind of mood today. It can help with our marriages and partnerships and cordiality and any sort of kind of speaking skills. And it helps with our sense of creativity. In terms of the weakness or shadow qualities, it might make us overly sensitive because, we're able to perceive a little bit more than normal. So be careful of hypersensitivity or oversensitivity to anything on a day like today. We could be overly concerned with how we are perceived in society, our reputation. We can be a little pessimistic if things are not looking too hot from our perspective. There can be a lot of extremes with regards to our kind of ethical standards or views. We can get on our high horse, our moral high horse in a lot of ways, and it's good not to kind of berate anybody with our values. If theirs are different, there's definitely ways to communicate that effectively that involves a lot of respect that we should be listening for and trying to attune ourselves with today. And then it can lend itself towards more obstinate qualities, kind of being a little bit too cut off or prude or whatever we want to use, whatever term we want to use. And then in terms of activities, it's another good day it's a good day for listening to anything, listening to music, anything having to do with your senses of perception, more of those, the passive side of taking information in, receiving, those kind of qualities, those feminine aspects. It can be great for going to therapy or counseling, for medical treatment. It's good for socializing and philosophizing. It's always good for meditation. It's a great day to just kind of get into your meditative practice and maybe perceive information that way. And then doing any sort of charitable acts is a great day for that, as I was alluding to before. In terms of unfavorable activities, it's not good for aggressive activities, any sort of lawsuits or battles. That was more yesterday, or the day before as well. It's not a great day to take risks. It's more about kind of being peaceful and finding that inner stillness and calmness that allows us to perceive things on a deeper level. It's not a great day for completing activities either. It's more of kind of that middle ground, like I said with Vishnu. It's this preservation of what's around us, this preservative quality that allows us to enjoy things for a very long time and kind of work towards their sustainability. in a lot of ways. So that could lend itself to, environmental sustainability, any sort of sustainability in our eating practices, our life practices, that kind of stuff. It's also, not a good day for taking oaths or lending money. So that's something to consider. And so I think that's gonna do it for today. It's been about 10 minutes. If you see over here, the moon is with Saturn. It's kind of in a difficult spot because Capricorn is this kind of serious energy. If you couldn't tell from that forecast, it's doesn't have too much lightness to it. It's more about like what's practical, what's real, and let's pay attention to it so we understand, the truth and what things are happening all around us. And especially with Saturn there in its own sign of Capricorn, it's really going to show this kind of intense pressure. Saturn kind of feels like stress and pressure, and it puts this kind of pressure on us in order to teach us lessons and show us where we really should have a good structure or a good foundation in that area of our lives. So like if something is feeling like the foundation is being rotted out or blown up or whatever happens to your foundation on like today, yesterday, tomorrow, in a certain area of your life, maybe a friendship, blows up and you have to rekindle that and start from the ground and work on trust again. And so you can see there's a lot of trust issues. There's a lot of this kind of rudimentary building block energy on a day like today and this Capricorn energy. And that's kind of keeping us in a very pragmatic, practical state of mind so that we can, kind of make our lives better and build a good foundation for them. All right, that's going to do it. I hope you all have a great day. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Hit the subscribe button if you want to see these on a daily basis. Otherwise, I will catch you next time. I'm going camping for a couple days, so I'm not going to be here for 2-3 days. So I will catch you on Monday. Have a great weekend. Take care.